And now coming back to the hair, right? So for my husband, he can go without taking a hair wash for 2 to 3 days. His hair is really good. For me, 1-2 days I miss, it becomes greasy. So one, I want to understand why some hair type or scalp type is such. And second, what causes dandruff?
Why are people different is as simple as why are we short and tall.
Okay.
It's just the type. It's just that some of us have more oil glands, more active oil glands. I don't think we can straitjacket into saying like XYZ is like this. I think it's more like, it's why so and so. It's more like a personality quirk also. We're all different people. So some people have oil glands that produce oil so much more. Some people have that less. Some people have skin that has a faster turnover rate, so you see it as flaking. Some people don't have that. Majority of this is genetically determined, but earlier we never used to have as much dandruff in Chennai, in my opinion, in my practice at least, as compared to now, because we're all now living in very cold temperatures thanks to air conditioning.
Oh, okay.
I do think that some parts of Europe don't get exposed to as much cold environment as we are getting exposed right here.
Okay.
Right? So that dryness, the constant dryness also makes a difference. So what started out predominantly being genetic is also now tempered with the exposures that we have. I think that's the most repeated word in this whole.
Yes. And I love it. I'm just going to go do a lot of research on that.
I sent you stuff. It's fun.
Yes, please. I'm just going to read about it.
Yeah, it's fun. And then you also had the question around how dandruff happens.
Yes.
So then some individuals who do have a genetic predisposition to easily acquire certain types of fungal infection or harbor certain types of fungal infection as compared to others who put out the oil on the scalp in a specific composition of fatty acids in there, are more at risk of this fungal infection thriving, growing. And then they can have visible flaking, which is worsened. So it's like a
next level
vicious cycle. It kind of feeds into each other. And then there are some individuals who may not have the susceptibility at all. And so they can go between hair washes, depending upon that. But by and large, if you are in a place which is quite polluted like ours, I'd recommend once in every 2 to 3 days, not less frequent than that.
Okay.
Because we also, when we're oilier, we're also acting like a dust trap, especially with the particulate matter pollution. And we also have a decent level of indoor pollution these days,
Okay.
but not as much as other cities in India, but is there.
Okay.
So dandruff, people also worsen it with the wrong hair habits, wrong grooming habits, like applying a lot of hair oil overnight.
Okay.
And I've said this before, but it's worth repeating because it's something I really think people should look at. There's already published data that shows that olive oil, coconut oil can be good ways in which we can make the fungus thrive. And then if we already have an established fungal component in the dandruff and you're just giving it extra oil, then you really don't want to be doing that.
Okay.
But the tradition is that, yes. And lots of things the tradition gave us. There are lots of good stuff that we could be doing. And a lot of things we gave away when we felt that tradition wasn't doing it enough for us. Like we see a lot of women wearing trousers now because it's more convenient. That doesn't make us any less traditional about our values of heart. And this could be one of these that you give up coconut oil and still feel it's okay for you to not feel traditional about it.
Okay.
Maybe that's not what the umbilical cord is about.
Wow. Okay. And do anti-dandruff shampoos actually work?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They do. Now, there are several mechanisms by which they work. One of them is this, we have a fungus, then we try getting rid of the fungus. So we have a lot of antifungal elements. Recently, coincidentally, we had just in Jan-Feb, we had put in a product which actually talks about restoring scalp microbiome. At the same time balancing the exfoliation, at the same time putting in agents that are able to restore balance. It's now become more about not just getting the fungus out, because I do know that there's a lot of antifungal products out there. So we want, and the resistance to these products is also there. Not all of them have it, but some of them do have it. So we wanted to come up with something that's a little different in concept, where we are restoring balance. And the kind of feedback that people have been giving, I felt like, okay, I should have done this sooner. As me typically, right? Like, it's a good thing, but I should have done this sooner.
It's good, not so good as it. You could have done it better.
I know. I should have done it a couple of years ago. What was I thinking about? Because the feedback is also that way. Like, Mama, like, why did you not do this earlier? I'm working on it.